It is that time of the month where I would be sharing all of the books that I was able to purchase probably in the last month or so. I know that I'm supposed to be on a book buying ban for the first 3 months of 2026, but we all know that it's never gonna happen. I mean, never say never. Maybe I will try again in the middle of the year to have a book buying ban for myself, but I just couldn't help myself. Honestly, I love watching book haul videos because that is how I discover new authors, new books that I've never heard of before, and I'm just always curious what people are book shopping for and also where they got their books from. So hopefully this video will be that for you. But anyways, let's just get started because I do have quite a stack right here next to me. It's out of frame because I don't want you to see how many books I actually have. Let's just start with these two books that I recently purchased. The first one is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I actually have read this book before. I love this book so much. I just love her books in general, but I did read this I think through Libby, and because I love it so much and maybe I will reread it eventually, I decided to get one for myself because I did see it at one of my favorite used bookstore, I believe, Las Vegas Books, and I just had to snatch it. And if you have been here for a while and you do watch my video, you probably know that I love a book where the setting is people in the entertainment industry. So the MMC in this book is an actor and the FMC is actually a bodyguard for him. And then they had to eventually kind of fake date each other because he doesn't want to worry his family because she is his bodyguard. She obviously have to be around him 24/7. And they ended up, of course, doing something more than just fake dating, and it was just a very fun, really cute book. And if you have not picked this up, you should definitely read this next time. So the next book is again the one that I have read. I do have a physical copy of this book, but I actually got the book of the month hardcover version of it, and because I love this book so much, I do want to read the rest of the book in the series. However, book of the month doesn't have the rest of the book in the series, so I had to get the paperback version, and it is Well Met by Jan DeLuca. If you have been here for a while, you probably have heard me talk about this book quite a few times, I think. I honestly did not expect to like this book as much as I do because I just decided to pick this up on a whim, honestly. And this one has a setting in a Renaissance fair during a summer, and I've never been to a Renaissance fair before. I don't really have too much of interest to actually go to one, but after reading this book, now I feel like I might want to check out one if there is one around Vegas, which I know that there is. And this one is just a really good book because once you start the book in the beginning, you just jump right into the action. There's not really a lot of introduction or anything like that, and I just love that. And since I started this book, I just feel like I wanted to read more and more of this book and just find out what's gonna happen. I think it's also interesting because the MMC is super grumpy, borderline like mean to her, to the FMC. So that is just kind of, you know, something that piqued my interest. And it also has found family for sure because the main character Emily just moved to this small town to help out her sister, and she basically didn't have any friends, and she kind of found like new group of friends from the Renaissance fair. And I cannot wait to read the next few books in the series because it's gonna be based on the friends that she just made in this book, and hopefully I'll be able to read the next one pretty soon. So these two books are the ones that I have read so far, and I love these two books. I would highly recommend it if you haven't read them. I think I will go through this one book first that I found at my favorite used bookstores. It's called Las Vegas Books, and I think this past month or so I was there every single Sunday. So I got City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. This is actually the third book in the Mortal Instruments series, I believe. I do have the first one. I got it from Abe's Book, I think that's what the website is called. It is kind of related to Amazon, but they only have used books there, and I think most of the independent used bookstores have like a page on that website, so I felt pretty good buying it from there, even though it's related to Amazon. But I was able to get the first one from online, and then I could find only the third one, and I still need to hunt for the second one. But anyways, I wanted to get into Cassandra Clare's universe. I know this is gonna be a long one because this is the world of the Shadow Hunters, and every book I think have kind of like a list of all of the books if you want to read them kind of like in order. So we shall see if I'll ever get to all of them. But I think right now I want to get at least the second book because I only have the first and the third book, and then go from there. I'm someone who would just get all of the books in the book series even if I haven't read the first one. But I'm not really sure if I'm gonna love this book. I know that people just adore this universe so much that I kind of feel left out not reading it like originally when it first came out. So hopefully I'll be able to at least start with this book series maybe toward the end of the year or something. And if you love the Shadowhunters universe, let me know what your thoughts are. Convince me to read them sooner than later. So these 4 books I think I will go over next. These are the books that I found from either Marshalls or TJ Maxx. If you don't know, they do sell books now. And let's just say I found a book that was released in 2026 for 50% off recently at a TJ Maxx. If you have a Marshalls or TJ Maxx close to you, make sure to just check in the book section and then see what you can find. Alright, so the first one that I was able to find, honestly I forgot if it was TJ Maxx or Marshalls. I'm just gonna lump them together because I think they're under the same company. But it is Unsteady by Peyton Corrine. I think that's how you say the author's name. I feel like her newest novel, which is called Unbound or something, has been around pretty like often whenever I am on Instagram or TikTok or even YouTube, and people are saying that this one is also a really good book series. And when I was able to find this at, like I said, Marshall or TJ Maxx for like $5.99 or something, I decided to pick it up because it just kind of piqued my interest. I think this is a hockey player with a figure skater. I cannot wait to read this. I heard really great things about it, and I feel like after reading The Deal by Elle Kennedy, I think I will look for more sports romance in like the hockey ice sports genre, I think. So let me know in the comment below if you have any other recommendations. The next book that I was able to find at, I think, Marshall or TJ Maxx, like I said, one of these 2 stores, I don't remember, but it is Wild Card by Elsie Silver. This is the 4th book, and it's this version because I know that book 2 and 3 I do have them, and it's the mountain version on the spine. Honestly, I was going to try and find the mountain version for the 1st and the 4th book, but I don't really care as much. Anyways, I think this one is also recently published. Let me see if it's 2025 or 2026. Alright, 2025. And I think this one is about... Okay, so I think this one is the ex-boyfriend's death trope, which honestly, I've never read any book with that trope. I'm kind of excited, but kind of nervous. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna love it. But we shall see what I think about this one. I feel like I've watched a couple people who read this book and they are okay with it. So I think it's gonna be hopefully a pretty decent read for me. So the next book that I found at one of these stores was Metal Slinger by Rachel Snyder. This one is the paperback version, and I think this one is also new-ish. Maybe the hardcover was published in 2024, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, this one is published last year, which is again crazy that I was able to find it at TJ Maxx or Marshall. I think it was TJ Maxx for like $10, which is about half off. Well, exactly half off because this one is $20 MSRP, but I don't know, I just think like that's pretty great. It's in a really great condition, and if I like it, I might look for the second book in paperback maybe in the next 2 years. We shall see. So this next one is the one that was published literally maybe just a couple weeks ago, and it is Just for the Cameras by Megan Quinn. I cannot believe that I found this for $10 at TJ Maxx, and this one was just released this year. I'm pretty sure 2026, because I was going to do my pre-orders like I think sometime in December or January or something, and I saw this book and I was like, I kind of want to get it because it sounds interesting. I have a lot of her books that I haven't read because last year Megan Quinn was in Vegas and she signed quite a lot of books at the Barnes & Noble nearby my house, and I decided to pick up, I want to say 6 or 7 books of hers. I need to read those books first before I pre-order this book. But because I found it at TJ Maxx for $10, I decided to pick it up. Again, it's in a pretty great condition. Recently published, not too long ago. So this stack is just the books that I got because I've been wanting to get all of these titles, and I do have them at my book outlet wish list because they had it in stock, I don't know, a couple months ago, and then now they're out of stock. And then I feel like if I'm waiting for the next book sale at book outlet, these are gonna be gone because I feel like people like this book so much. These two books I think are part of a pretty long book series, but the author has decided to kind of separate them in, I think, 3 different parts or something like that. So this one is The Crowns of Nyaxia by Carissa Broadbent, and this is the Nightborn duet. So I got the first book, I believe. Yeah, this is the first one, and then the second one. Again, I've heard pretty great things about Carissa Broadbent's books, and I think she might be coming out with some newer books recently, and obviously people are also talking about her backlist, and this is one of them. I have never read anything by this author before, and I think I want to give this first part of the Crowns of Nyaxia a try before getting the rest of the book in the series. I think there's like novella in between, so I'm gonna give this first 2 books a try, and if I like it, I will move on and continue on with the books in this universe. So this one is a standalone fantasy, which I do like because I am pretty new to fantasy in general, and I feel like sometimes when there's a fantasy series that are pretty long but pretty beloved, it kind of intimidates me to start because it's a long series. But anyways, I've heard again pretty great things about this one. This one is The Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wang, I think, and I was able to get the paperback. I have heard again great things about this book, I think last year, but they didn't come out with the paperback, I think, until maybe the end of last year or something. Yeah, actually this one was published in 2023, I think, and then in 2025 they finally came out with a paperback version. Again, heard really great things about this one. I love that this is just one book, and then whenever I decided to pick this up, I don't have to pick up, you know, the next book. So I'm kind of excited to read this one. I'm gonna add it to my kind of standalone fantasy book stacks or pile on my bookshelf, and then whenever I feel like I want to read a fantasy book that is just one book, I will go to that pile and hopefully pick this one up. So this next book is a standalone book. I'm pretty sure this is sci-fi, but this is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I feel like, again, I've heard so many great things about Brandon Sanderson's books and also universe. I think all of the YouTubers that I follow talk about, was it the Mistborn universe or series? Honestly, I'm not super familiar, but I know that some people also talk about this book, and this is a standalone book, which is again great introduction to the Brandon Sanderson's universe. From what I understand, this one is connected to all of the other books that he published in the Cosmere universe. I think that's what it's called. So I'm gonna give this one a try. I also have the first book in another series that he has. I forgot what it is, but it's right there. I can't read the title, but I have the first one in that book series, but I think I might actually read this one first because it is a standalone, and I've heard that people really do love this one as well. I mean, I don't know, this one looks great. I love that the cover is all green. Green is my favorite color, and hopefully I will have a good reading experience with this one. Okay, so this next one is a first book in a beloved sci-fi series, and it is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. And I decided to just get the first book first because honestly, I kind of heard mixed review about this book series. Some people love it, some people don't like it as much. So because I'm not really sure if I will like it, I will just try the first book first. I know that this is technically, I think, a trilogy. I think that's what it's called, book 1 of the Red Rising trilogy. But I know that technically the series continued to book 4, 5, and 6, I want to say. And I think the 7th book is also coming out sometime this year or next year. So I think for now, if I do like this first book, I will continue on with Golden Sun and Morning Star. After that, we shall see. I'm not even sure if I will be able to like pick this up anytime soon because sci-fi is definitely intimidating me because I've never read one before. I don't know, there's just so many great ones out there that people talk about So I'm just kind of curious to try out, you know, some of the ones that are pretty popular. I have another one here that I bought. It's a YA romance. It's called The Name Drop by Susan Lee, and this is how the cover looks like. I've been wanting to pick this book up for so long, but I haven't been able to find like a good copy. All of them were hardcover most of the time, and of course I wanted the paperback because all of Susan Lee's books that I have, the adult romance and the YA romance, I have them in paperback. But this one is so interesting. So basically the guy is rich, and I think his dad owns this one company that he is planning to intern in for the summer, and she is basically a nobody. She is an intern for his dad's company, and because their Korean names are similar, I think when they check in to the internship and stuff like that, their placement will switch. Basically, she got the VIP treatment because everyone thinks that she is the daughter of the company CEO, and he got like the mediocre average treatment because nobody knows that he is the actual son of the company CEO or something. So that is how their story started, and honestly that just sounds super interesting. I know that something's gonna happen between the two of them, hopefully, and I cannot wait to read all about it. So these next 4 books are pre-orders that I did, I think, last year. I think you're gonna think that I'm crazy because 3 of the 4 books are actually the last book in a book series that I actually haven't started. I'm gonna go over this first one called The Fortune Flip by Lauren Kong Jessin. I actually do have a couple of her other books, maybe 2 or 3 that I haven't read. I just cannot pass up the opportunity to read a book that is based on like an Asian or Chinese like superstition, and I feel like this is gonna remind me of that movie by Lindsay Lohan and Chris Pine from like the early 2000s, where he was really lucky and she's really unlucky, and they kiss one night or something and then their fortune flip. So it's gonna be one of those story, I think, and I feel like it's gonna be fun because it has some kind of like Chinese superstition also behind it about fortune and fortune telling and stuff like that. So I cannot wait to read this one. So let's talk about this one book first. I actually pre-ordered Rider by Jessica Peterson. I did read the first book, which was Cash. So this is book 5, I want to say. I know that I'm gonna definitely continue on with the series because I love the first book so much. I talk about how I love the way Jessica Peterson's write her spicy chapters or spicy pages. It's hard to explain it, but I just love her writing style. You just have to read it and let me know what you think about them. So the other book that I pre-ordered is actually the 3rd book in JC Lee's book series. It's a fantasy series, I believe. It's called Realm of Four Kingdoms. The first book is called Nine-Tailed, the second book is King Foretold, and this one, Lightburn, is the 3rd one. So I'm not gonna read the back of the book because I have done that before and it definitely spoiled the book before it, but I do have the first 2 books. I did see JC Lee at the Las Vegas Book Festival in October of last year, and I just love the way that she talks about her experience writing the books. She actually wrote quite a lot of books before this one, so I'm really hoping that I'll be able to at least start the first book in this series this year. I do have it somewhere there. It's calling my name, I know. I can't wait to put this book right next to the first and second book because I have been making space in my bookshelf because I know that I pre-ordered this book and I know that it's coming to me pretty soon, which is, I guess, right now. Last but not least, I have the 3rd book in the Legendborn Cycle series called Oathbound. I do have the first and second book in paperback, and I've been waiting for the 3rd one to come out in the paperback version. So I have been, again, making space for the 3rd book so I can put it right next to the other 2 books. I have heard so many great things about this Legendborn Cycle book series and I cannot wait to read it. I heard that this one is not gonna be the end of the story, so I definitely need to do a lot of catching up before the next book comes out. I don't know when it's gonna be, but hopefully not so soon. Those are all of the books that I was able to purchase in the last month or so. I know that this is a lot of books and I am really hoping that I can stop myself from buying books, and if anything, I do need to definitely do a lot more unhauling of my books so I can make some space in my bookshelf. But hopefully this will be a great opportunity for you to kind of discover new books and new authors that you've never heard of before. And if you have read any of these books, please convince me in the comment which one I should start first because I have quite a lot of books.